The fourth round of the 2023 Autosport International BTRDA Clubmen's Rallycross Championship sees the championship return to one of its spiritual homes at the Blyton Park Driving Centre in famous Lincolnshire. Slightly damp Sunday afternoon sees almost 60 cars arrive across 7 different categories to do battle, with the points championship still wide open once everything is combined at the end of the season. Cars of all shapes, sizes and ages ready to go racing on the 0.9 mile Blyton layout. First of all, let's take a look at the circuit, slightly reconfigured for this season. We're on board with Alex Fletcher in the newly Wearer Tools sponsored Honda Civic run by the Loughborough College team. Let's take a look at this Blyton circuit, just under a mile in length. It's down the tarmac straight into this long left-hander which tightens as you go through it to move you onto the loose section. Of course, Rallycross, if you've not seen it before, takes place on a combination of tarmac and loose surfaces on this former airfield here at Blyton Park. It's over this loose section. The track gets very bumpy indeed through here. Across the old runway, it is slightly damp through there after some rain earlier in the day, then into the first of the chicanes over on the back straights. Short blast along this tarmac section before the second chicane, onto the brakes, the left and then the right. Tricky little circuit this one. You can see the surface of the old runway up towards the hairpin towards the end of the lap. Used to be a double left-hander, but now a much tighter hairpin. The circuit reconfigured for the 2023 season. Several of the drivers visited for round one of the championship back at the start of the year, and then it's the final right-hander on the tarmac back towards the paddock. That is the lap of the Blyton Park Driving Centre Rallycross circuits. Alex Fletcher, our chauffeur for that one. We start off our roundup with the A final for the modified 4x4 category, sponsored by MacG Racing. 2 wins in the heats for Tomas Ramanauskas in his Mitsubishi. The Lithuanian driver has put him on pole. The other heat won by Andy Hawkes in the BMW Mini on the outside, the Mini all 4, but it is a great start by Chris Baker from the middle of the front row in the Subaru, and he takes up the lead, looking for his first A final victory. 6 laps the distance in the A final. As you can see, the wipers going on Tomas Ramanauskas' Mitsubishi. A bit of a water splash has formed after the earlier rain going through the loose section, to say the least. It's very tricky through this section indeed. This is the wettest part of the circuit, going across the runway onto what used to be the back straight. The cars used to go over the jump, taking them into the back straight. That section now bypassed, as you can see it there in the background, the old jump here at Blyton on this reconfigured circuit. They now go through the 2 chicanes and then up towards the hairpin. Chris Baker leads in the Subaru. And in second place, Tomas Ramanauskas' Mitsubishi. Then the 2 BMW Mini all 4 cars of Andy Hawkes and David Bell in fourth place, the creator of this new category, the all 4 Minis. Wipers flailing away on Tomas Ramanauskas' car. He got rather soaked through the water splash there on the opening lap. Effectively a combination of rallying and racing, the sport of rallycross. And the Subaru Impreza, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, 2 of the most famous rally cars of the modern era. One other driver who was here today in this category was young Southwest-based driver Max Langmaid, the junior rallycross graduate. His car unfortunately suffered some problems in the heats and was unable to start this A final. A couple of laps to go now for Chris Baker out in front, and Ramanauskas bounces wide there, coming out of the left-hander past the paddock, then down the straight, the fastest part of the course, into this long left-hander. Ramanauskas again out of shape. He's really trying hard, try and keep up his run of victories this year, trying to retain the 4x4 title, sponsored this year by MacG Racing, and going wide there onto the grass. Ramanauskas pushing a bit too hard there over this wetter section of the circuit, but he is catching up to the back of Chris Baker in the Subaru Impreza. Seen Imprezas take the title in the last few years in the hands of likes of Dan Beattie and Paul Davis in this category. Hope to see them back out someday. The new BMW Mini all 4 category, led by Andy Hawkes, comes from a rallycrossing family. David Bell, the category founder, in fourth place. His father, Tony Bell, used to race a Toyota Corolla WRC in the British Rallycross Championship. It's drying out, thankfully, for the afternoon for the A finals for the Autosport International BTRDA Clubmen's Rallycross Championship. Second visit to Blyton this year. They then go on to Liddon Hill, the home of Rallycross, then a doubleheader at Pembrey in South Wales, and the finale takes place in Scotland at Knockhill. Couldn't get get circuits much further apart, could you, in the UK? Through this wet infield section through the mud. Ramanauskas a bit sideways, he had to anchor up the rear brakes there. Coming into the first of the 2 chicanes, it's fishtailing the Mitsubishi about. Hawks still third ahead of Bell. Shame Max Langmaid couldn't get involved in this final. Engine issues from the heats, preventing him from starting the final. There's David Bell in the familiar Bell Rallycross livery. And Chris Baker staying ahead of Thomas Ramanauskas. Is he heading for his first A final win after at least a couple of years of trying? Always had to give best to his fellow Subarus and then to Ramanauskas over the last few years. Ramanauskas taking the title last year, the Lithuanian-born racer, but he's sideways again there on the chicane. Baker coping much better with the conditions here in the MacG Racing Modified 4x4 A final. Pulls away down the far side towards the hairpin. Sliding about on the outside again. You can see how hard Ramanauskas is pushing, but I don't think he's going to do it. And it's at long last going to be an A final win for the Subaru of Chris Baker. Here he comes up towards the final corner. Chris Baker takes the checkered flag. At long last, he's done it. Chris Baker wins the A final at Blyton. Ramanauskas in second place. Third will go to Andy Hawks. He wins the BMW Mini All 4 category ahead of David Bell. But congratulations to Chris Baker at long last. Wins an A final by just over half a second ahead of Thomas Ramanauskas. Andy Hawks takes third a few seconds further back. David Bell in fourth. Max Langmaid, sadly a non-starter in the MacG Racing Modified 4x4 A final.
Chris, it's wonderful to see you up here on the top step of the podium. It's been quite a season or so for you. How good is this win?
Excellent. Long time coming. Yeah, buzzing. Absolutely buzzing.
Well, it looks like you're steaming, and so is the car. It's obviously you've been working it hard. And you clearly had to keep pushing the whole way because Thomas wasn't far behind.
Yeah, Thomas is always on that back bumper. I spent half of that race looking in my rearview mirror to see which way he was. But yeah, he's always there, always. And that's the first final I've won as part of the class. I won a super final at Knockhill in 2021, I think it was. But yeah, that's the best one yet.
And lovely to see that perhaps your mechanical demons have gone.
They're not gone yet. The diff's ready to let go. And I found the next weakest point. It's been playing on my mind all day that it's wearing, it's ready to let go. So I have to look at that before Lydden Hill.
Yeah, because Lydden Hill's only 4 weeks away.
Yeah, and I've got a holiday in between. I get back the Friday before Saturday's racing. So yeah, I fly back into the country less than 12 hours before we start. So we'll see how that one goes.
Well, you can't stand around talking to me. You better get trailered up and go.
That's it. I'm back on it. Catch you again.
Well done, Chris.
Cheers.
On to the young guns in the junior rallycross category, sponsored by AVM Motors. Will Ovenden in pole position, won 2 of the heats. Tyler McAlpin won the other. Completing the front row is Corey Padgett, the 3 Suzuki Swifts, with Nissan Micra in there as well of Jimmy Jeekins. Away they go down towards the first corner of this 6-lap A final. It's a good start by Tyler McAlpin, trying to get around the outside. Is he going to go too wide though on the first corner? He tries to anchor up the brakes. No, he's gone too wide on the exit, and Will Ovenden takes the lead in the red Suzuki Swift, the man from Kent, and Corey Padgett trying to come through into second place as well, side by side for fourth. Teddy McPherson and Jimmy Jeekins rounding out the field. We've got Ben Crossley and Holly Woolley. There's Crossley at the back, locks up and goes into the cones. Very wet on that section of the circuit. Ben Crossley, one of our newcomers this year, but it's Will Ovenden who leads the way. Corey Padgett up into second position, chased by McAlpin. Then it's Jimmy Jeekins in the Nissan Micra, and Teddy McPherson rounding out the top 5. There is McPherson down the runway towards the hairpin, gone clear of Holly Woolley and Ben Crossley towards the back of the field. But it's Will Ovenden who leads the way, looking for the junior championship this year. Couple of non-starters in this race, incidentally. Phoebe Cake not making it out in her Suzuki Swift, and also the Citroen C2 of Harvey Hutchinson had a rollover in Heat 3 after clipping one of the tyre stacks, but thankfully Harvey is okay. Battle is joined here for second place. Bouncing wide there, Teddy McPherson over the curb. Corey Paget coming under fire from Tyler McAlpin, who goes way wide there, trying to get the cut back around the outside as they head onto the loose. They're almost side by side, nearly off the edge of the circuit there, Tyler McAlpin. They are side by side. McAlpin's going through as they head onto the loose, up into second position. A little bit of damage to Corey Paget's car there, and Paget nearly into the cones. He's really trying hard. Jimmy Jeekins trying to catch them, and a mistake there for McAlpin through the chicane. This is going to allow Paget back up alongside. He goes through. McAlpin almost came to a stop there, coming through the chicane, throws away his good work in the early parts of the lap, but all this battling's allowing Will Ovenden to get away at the front of the field. McAlpin to the inside again as they head down towards the hairpin. Great race between these two. McAlpin barges his way back through on the inside. Drivers as young as 13 in Junior Rallycross, and they certainly know no fear, these young racers. Will Ovenden from a rallycrossing family, as is Corey Paget, the son of Phil Chicken, who we'll see out today in the super modified category. Here comes Jimmy Jeekins and the Jeekins race preparation team. His father and older brother Alfie prepare race cars in a variety of classes, including the mini challenge on the circuits, where Alfie's been plying his trade since his graduation from Rallycross and the Junior Saloon Car Championship. Tyler McAlpin now pulling away in that second place ahead of the 326 of Corey Paget. Then it's Jeekins in the micro, runs a bit wide there towards the grass. He's sliding about there. You can see how wet it is. Jeekins loses it. Just about gets the car slowed for the chicane and gets the micro going again. He rolled that car here in round one at Blighton after clipping a tyre stack on the first corner. Behind him, Teddy McPherson. Then it's Ben Crossley and Holly Woolley. Looks like Crossley's got through into sixth position. Indeed he has. It's Holly Woolley at the back of the field in the 59. McPherson trying to close up in fifth place. It's his first season in the category. See more talent develop, including Phoebe Cake. Her father Chris Cake, an ex-rallycrosser. Maybe he'll be tempted into a comeback as well. There's Will Ovenden. He's pulled away in front as everybody else has been squabbling behind him. It's the hairpin for the penultimate time. It's from a rallycrossing family based down near Liddon Hill in Kent, and through their construction business they've played a large part in the reshaping of the Liddon Hill circuits for the World Rallycross Championships return. Through to the start of the final lap through the paddock section. He goes Will Ovenden. It's McAlpin in second place. He's pulled clear of Corey Paget. Now they had a frantic battle early on. Paget closed back up again. Doesn't look like it. Jimmy Jeekins has dropped back as well in the micro in fourth place. So after a very frantic race early on, things opening out in the closing stages. That's a wet infield section catching out few of the drivers, as we saw. McPherson in fifth position, then Crossley and Woolley. Yellow flags waving there on the back straight section. I couldn't see any problems there though. Maybe somebody just had a quick spin. No problem though for Will Ovenden, so he heads for victory once again here at Blighton. Certainly putting himself into pole position for the Junior Championship this year already. The AVM Motors Junior Rallycross Championship could be heading to Will Ovenden this year if he keeps up this form. He takes the checkered flag, well clear of his opposition. It's going to be Tyler McAlpin home in second, but closing in there in the latter part of the lap was the 326 of Corey Paget. Jimmy Jeekins will take four, so McAlpin I think made a mistake there coming through the chicane. That's why we saw the yellow flag briefly. McPherson next home ahead of Crossley and Woolley. An entertaining final then for the AVM Motors Junior Rallycross category, won by Will Ovenden, some 9 seconds clear of Tyler McAlpin. Corey Paget closing to within less than a second of McAlpin at the flag. Jimmy Jeekins in the micro fourth ahead of Teddy McPherson, then Crossley and Holly Woolley closing out the finishers. Harvey Hutchinson and Phoebe Cake were sadly non-starters.
Well, that's an emphatic win, and I can see you smiling. Obviously means a lot to you.
Yeah, it always does. Every win feels the same. It's always great. Yeah, the feeling just never gets old. I absolutely love it, and yeah, to win is all I ever want. So yeah.
And any trouble with the car or the track during the day?
We had some trouble with some potholes earlier on. Just we replaced the shock absorber because it got a bit banged up by the potholes. But I managed to stay clear of them in the final and drove through to the win. So it's good.
Happy days and a happy win.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, many congrats, and yeah, we'll see you at Lyddon at the end of the month.
Yeah, you will. That'll be good. Thank you.
Right, well done.
Now on to something different, the FIA Cross Cars, sponsored by Rotec and SGS Welding Gas. 2 heat wins for Will Butler in the Treble 1 car have placed him on pole position. The other heat won by the blue buggy of 501, David Attiwell. Luke Holly, number 23, completing the front row. They get underway. In the back row of the grid, we've got Ethan Rouse in the number 424, Stephen Burke in the 32. They charge their way down towards the first corner. The 600cc engines howling away. It's David Attiwell who's made the best start. Not the best of starts for Treble 1. Will Butler, the pole sitter, is down to 3rd place. Attiwell leads as they charge their way over the loose section. It's 424 Ethan Rouse at the back. Had a strong run at Pembrey on his debut in the category earlier this season. Through the chicane, 501 David Attiwell, the ex-Pre-95 Classic Division driver. Used to race a Vauxhall Nova, very different to this 600cc engine buggy. Luke Holly in 2nd place, Butler in 3rd, then the number 32 of Stephen Burke. Into the hairpin, you can see the suspension working away on these little machines, and Luke Holly's gone off onto the grass there coming out of the hairpin, loses 2nd place, he might lose 3rd as well. Stephen Burke comes through, Will Butler is through into 2nd place, but it's David Attiwell with a clear lead at the end of the opening lap on this FIA Cross Car final, sponsored by SGS Welding Gas, sponsors of Luke Holly, and Rotec Limited, the other sponsor. It's the first full season we've had for these little buggies. They are very spectacular indeed. They made an appearance at the Live Action Arena at the Autosport International Racing Car Show at the NEC in Birmingham in January. Very spectacular indeed they were in there. Some drivers coming over from Spain to join the British regulars. Burke fighting it out with the 23 of Luke Holly. See the amount of mud on Holly's car there. The infield section still very wet and slippery. Through the left-hander and 32 there on that first element of the chicane, getting a wheel onto the grass. He tries to defend 3rd place. Stephen Burke, newcomer this weekend to the championship. He's gone wide now. He's done exactly the same as Luke Holly did a lap ago. Into the field he goes. Manages to resurrect the car onto the circuits before he did too much ploughing there. Last thing he wanted to get completely bogged down in the field and have to be towed out. David Attiwell is under fire meanwhile for the lead. Will Butler trying to go around the outside. I don't think he'll get round there. Just goes too wide on that first corner. You can see how it tightens to take you back over the infield. Tricky corner, that one. You approach it on the highest speed on the track. 32 slowing down. Stephen Burke has got a problem. He was battling for 3rd place, but looks like he's out of the race. Luke Holly then left clear in 3rd place. This is the battle for the lead. Holly well back on them. Attiwell from Butler. Ethan Rouse is still going in 4th place. Will Butler all over the back of David Attiwell. They're coming round to start their final lap this time in this FIA Cross Car A final. Great to see these cars race on a motocross track, I always think. Imagine these little buggies flying over the jumps on a venue like that. Into the final lap then, down towards turn 1. David Attiwell just about hanging on to his lead. He's forcing Will Butler to go the long way round there. Butler can't get alongside him. Try again as they go over the loose. A little bit drier through this section now from the earlier A finals, but that crossing of the runway is still very wet indeed. Saw a few of the junior rallycross drivers in problems there after the earlier rain. A bit of a lock up there from Attiwell. This is Will Butler's opportunity through the chicane. He'll need to try and get down the inside into the hairpin, but I don't think he's close enough. No, Attiwell covers the inside. Butler tries the cut back off the hairpin. It's going to be very close between these two up towards the line. Can David Attiwell hang on for his 2nd A final win of the season? He won at Pembrey. Here he comes up towards the final right-hander. He's just about going to hang on. David Attiwell wins the FIA Cross Car A final. 2nd goes to Will Butler, and they're well ahead of the rest. Great fight between those two. It's It's going to be Luke Holly who comes in sideways over the line for third place. And the other finisher will be Ethan Rouse. There is the 4-2-4 because we lost Stephen Burke midway through. Unfortunately, that's a great shame because he was battling for a podium place on his debut. Confirm the result of that FIA Cross Car A final then, sponsored by SGS Gases and Rotec. David Attiwell the winner by 0.36 of a second. Great fight against Will Butler. Luke Holly further back in third, and Ethan Rouse completing the finishers. Stephen Burke suffering a few car problems, failed to make the finish.
David, can I see your hands? Because they seem full of steering wheel, trying to keep your car in front of Will.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, still shaking. Yeah, Will was really pushing. You know, he was there. One mistake, he would have had it. But no, won it, and that's it, isn't it? You know, that's what you're here to do, isn't it? Win your race, and that's it. But yeah, anyone who wants to hire one, you know, anyone who wants to drive one, they drive one once, they won't want to go back. Even though the Nova's clawing at me at the moment to get back in, but you know, something different, isn't it? But yeah, it's been awesome day. Weather's been good, dry, bit mucky in the middle, but you know, it always is here, isn't it? But yeah.
And your mirrors must have been full of Will the whole time.
Yeah.
You must have been, what, 1.5 eyes behind you and one in front?
Let's put it this way, I may as well have just put a sticker of Will's cart in the mirrors because he was there the whole time. Well, I did pull away a little bit and then he gained up again. I think when you're in front and you're not chasing someone, you do not ease off, but you think, I'm in front. And then all of a sudden you see someone behind and you're thinking, I'm not in front at the moment. I am, but it might not be for long. But yeah, no, he pushed, he drove well.
And today's your day, David. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to the BTRDA and all the marshals as well. So yeah, thank you very much.
Next up, it is the super modified category. New entry there, Cameron Whitley debuting his VW Polo, but it is Phil Chicken in the Citroen C2 who has qualified on pole. Richard Moore in his awesome Mercedes SLK V8 alongside him, and completing the front row, it is the Fiesta of Maciek Florszak. We're on board with Todd Crooks from the second row in his BMW Mini. Look at that Mercedes SLK, first time it's made an A final. Fires off into the lead, the red machine of Richard Moore. There's Florszak on the outside, side by side with Todd Crooks, who had a heat win but had problems in another of the heats and was back on the second row looking for his first A final win of the season. Previously unbeaten in A finals this year, Fred Ling in his Fiesta. He's absent today, so we will see a new winner for 2023 in the SG Haulage Super Modified. Todd Crooks just tripping over a cone there, drops back to fourth behind Maciek Florszak. Magic, as he's known, the Polish driver in the Fiesta, but it is Richard Moore looking to win his first ever A final. That awesome self-built Mercedes. He's been working on that car, he tells us, for some 8 years, as Florszak tries to push his way past Phil Chicken. Get off, says Phil Chicken, and holds that second place, and Crooks has come through for third because Florszak had to anchor it up there on the hairpin to get round. He's down to fourth. It's Cameron Whitley, used to run a Ford Focus in the production category, and his new four-wheel drive VW Polo is up there in fifth position, and Florszak's all over the place. He's going to hit the starting lights if he's not careful. Down the dirt on the outside of the front straights. Phil Chicken in second place. There's Florszak in fourth, Magic Florszak. It's Richard Moore out in front in this awesome Mercedes SLK. Has had a lot of teething problems with this car since it finally debuted at the end of last season. And where is Florszak going? He's all over the place in the Fiesta. Moore continues to hold off Phil Chicken, who's having a look there on the run-up to the hairpin. Todd Crooks in third place in the BMW Mini. Florszak has recovered into fourth place. We're on board with Todd Crooks. Has a look down the inside. The car rebuilt after a rollover in the previous round at Pembrey. He's up into second place there. He's got ahead of Phil Chicken. Always there or thereabouts, Todd Crooks, the chassis engineer for Jaguar Land Rover. Been racing this car for a number of years now. It's the second BMW Mini he's had. The first one got destroyed in a huge accident at Linden Hill a few years ago. Richard Moore up front. We are going to see a new winner, as I said earlier, because Fred Ling, who's unbeaten in A finals in the category this year with the Fiesta ST, not here this weekend. Maciek Florszak closing back up in his Ford Fiesta. further back in the order, Cameron Whitley with the new Volkswagen Polo. We lost somebody earlier on, Gary Cook, in the Wearer Tools sponsored Ford Fiesta ST. The college lecturer has sadly dropped out of the race as Todd Crooks putting the Mercedes under pressure of Richard Moore for the lead. Gives him a bit of a tap there to let him know he's there. It's taken the corner off the rear bumper there on the Mercedes, but somehow Richard Moore still hanging on in the lead. A couple of other cars that suffered problems earlier. Michelle Swallow in her Porsche Boxster, also James Avison in the Honda Civic, and the Corsas of Dale Ford and Andy Grant failing to start the final as Phil Chicken trying to get around the outside of Todd Crooks in the BMW Mini. Great fight for second place here. Still your leader is Richard Moore in the Mercedes, despite that bit of damage to the left rear corner. Chicken all over the back of Crooks. Great race here for the SG Haulage Super Modified category. The SG Haulage sponsored car of Dale Ford, the former overall champion, broke down in Heat 2. Just noticed in the background there, Maciek Florschak has pulled up in the Fiesta on the main straight, so he's out of it. We're down to 4 cars running, with a bit of a day of attrition for the Super Modified class today. Can Richard Moore hang on for his first ever A final win in this self-built and developed Mercedes SLK Special? Very much in the old tradition of home-built Rallycross specials, this car. On the outside there, Todd Crooks, he's attacking and defending at the same time now with Phil Chicken, another Rallycross veteran, on his tail. Here comes the C2, qualified on pole. Chicken, Crooks and Moore all won a heat each. Up the outside, Chicken locks up, goes out onto the grass. Crooks will just about hold second place as they go into the final lap. Richard Moore continues to lead. What is this? Maciek Florschak driving the wrong way up the main straight. The red flags have come out. I have never seen that before. What on earth was Maciek Florschak doing? The Fiesta driving the wrong way along the track alongside the main straight while the race was still in progress. You see it again there in replay. There he is. He's lucky he wasn't actually on the racing surface. The race red flagged because of that. I don't know what was going on there. The race declared in favour of Richard Moore, just ahead of Todd Crooks and Phil Chicken, with Cameron Whitley the only other finisher, and Florschak obviously disqualified. What an extraordinary conclusion to our SG Haulage Super Modified A final. I have never seen anything like that before.
Well, Richard, it was an exciting race, and great to see the Mercedes delivering up the goods. How was it for you?
Pretty exciting. I've been spent 8 years building the car. It's the first meeting I've done. All I was going to do was a bit of a test today, and then as the day went on, it looked more and more hopeful. So I thought, well, at the final, I'll just have a go. You know, I'm quite amazed that I actually won. I've never won an event before, so you know, I don't know what to say really. I'm just so excited. The problem is, when I started building this car 8 years ago, I was probably young enough to drive it, but I'm not too sure now. But yeah, I'm having fun, which is what it's all about, really.
Don't say that too loudly, Richard, because there'll be lots of younger people who'd be would bite your arm off to have a chance.
You're probably right there. Yeah. They wouldn't want to pay for it though.
Savour that emotion, and we look forward to seeing more of it in the future.
Hopefully you will. Yep, all being well. Yeah.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Richard. All the best.
Thank you very much.
We move on to the production category, sponsored by the MOT Group. In pole position is Alex Fletcher in the Wearer Tools Honda Civic. He won a heat, as did Martin Peters in the Saxo, and the man starting between them, Mark Henry, in the Alfa Romeo 147. We are on board with Alex Fletcher. Be a tool rebel, it says on the Wearer Tools logo. He's going to try and be a bit of a racing rebel in this final, but he's beaten off the line. Mark Henry makes the best start in the Alfa Romeo 147, a unique car to Rallycross. He takes up the early lead. James Ash in his Citroen C2 slots into 4th place. There at the back of the field is Kestis Butkus, one of our newcomers in the Suzuki, I should say, the Suzuki Swift. Also in there, another newcomer, Will Noon, at the wheel of the ex-Mark Finch Renault Clio. Mark Henry slides the Alfa Romeo through the chicane. Also in there in the background behind the Clio, another Citroen C2, that's Dan Griffiths. That I think is the ex-Tom Brooks car he's driving. Then we've got the Ford Puma, which is Rob Tinto. Kestis Butkus at the back of the field. One non-starter in this production final. Stuart Woolen, problems in the heats for his Peugeot 106. There's 284 James Ash. This is the battle for 4th place. Will Noon giving chase in the sky blue Renault Clio. Having a look on the outside down towards turn 1. First 3 have pulled away. Mark Henry, Alex Fletcher and Martin Peters in the Citroën Saxo, the winner of the first couple of rounds of the year. There's Fletcher in the Honda Civic, the Wera Tools car. It is Mark Henry out in front, the Alfa Romeo liveried in the Italian tricolore, you can see there. Alfa Romeo against Honda. Could almost be British touring cars of many years ago, couldn't it? There's 284, that's James Ash. A better run from him. Has had a few problems with the C2 this year. He's got ahead of Will Noon in the Renault Clio, one of our newcomers. It's the ex-Mark Finch car, I'm fairly sure. We've seen him run that car and also his Fiesta in the Classic division. Mark Henry had a pair of podiums in the double-header round at Pembrey, despite feeling a bit under the weather that weekend. Back to full fitness and full form here, looking for his first A final win of the season. Alex Fletcher, we're on board with him. The reigning modified category champion. Yeah, the Loughborough College car moves to the outside on turn 1. Can't quite get up with the Alfa Romeo that made a super start from the middle of the front row of this race, the MOT Group Production A final. You're looking to get into the Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. This is certainly the category to aim for your first season. And running wide there, Will Noon onto the grass in the Clio. Holds it together. So they head up towards the chicane. That's allowed the 284, the 88 rather, of Dan Griffiths in the second of the Citroën C2s to close in. Between these two for the victory. They're coming round to start the final lap of the Blighton Park racetrack in this MOT Group Production A final. Into the right-hander, Mark Henry, chased by our camera car, Alex Fletcher. Can he pull alongside here on the run up the straight? Just gets a wheel up on the curb. He's trying to pull up alongside. Look at this, Fletcher's got the better exit there from the final corner. Can he get the car stopped in time around the outside? Just got the nose in front. They're side by side, but no. Henry's got the tighter line as the corner tightens there to the left, and the Alfa Romeo hangs on in front of the Loughborough College Wera Tools Honda Civic. What can Alex Fletcher do here on this final lap? Through the first chicane. They're clear of their opposition. Martin Peters in the Saxo, still there in third place in the background. It's James Ash and Will Noon next in the order. It's looking good for Mark Henry. He'll be very pleased indeed if he can take a victory here. Looking for his first A final win of the season. Not very often we see an Alfa Romeo take victory in a rallycross event. Again, more famous as touring cars over the years. Around the final corner, he's going to hold off Alex Fletcher's determined effort, and Mark Henry wins the production category here at Blighton. Second for Alex Fletcher. They're well ahead of the rest. Martin Peters in third in the Citroën Saxo. There's the number 88 of Dan Griffiths a little bit further back in the order. It's going to be the 284 of James Ash home in fourth. Will Noon in the Clio is fifth. Sixth is Dan Griffiths. And further back behind them, Rob Tinto and Kestutis Butkus. There's the Puma of Rob Tinto, the transport company boss. And finally the Suzuki Swift Sport of another of our Lithuanian contingent, Kestis Butkus, in the final corner in the Suzuki Swift. So Mark Henry takes the Alfa Romeo to victory by just under half a second ahead of Alex Fletcher. Good fight between those two. Martin Peters in third. That'll help his championship aspirations. And James Ash, Will Noon next term ahead of Dan Griffiths, Rob Tinto, Kestutis Butkus, Stuart Woolen, a non-starter in the Peugeot 106 after a few problems.
Now, Mark, I can see from your complexion that you've worked hard for that win.
I did. Yeah, that was hard work. Watching behind me and making sure I'm not doing it wrong, and yeah, that was hard, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah, an exciting race to watch from where we were, and all the time Alex Fletcher was looming large in your mirrors.
He did. He came around the outside down the bottom bend there, and I thought I've just got to keep in there. Late break, and it was a very late break. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
Well, keep it up, and we'll see you at Lyddon.
We will do. Yeah, we'll be there.
More of the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Well done, Mark. Congrats.
Thank you.
It was a rather chaotic day for the BMW Mini category. A tangle between Gus Glass and Harrison Barnes at the first attempt at the A final before the race was stopped following a spectacular rollover for the number 69 car of Harvey Harmon. Plenty of damage to the car, driver thankfully unscathed. The red flag came out, the second attempt at the A final. Number 4 David Ellis, one of the championship favourites, coming to a halt out on the circuit. Attempt 3 then at the BMW Minis A final, sponsored by Bone Street Autos. Abby McGuinness in pole position in her number 614 car. Wesley Wickens alongside, and a gap where David Ellis should have been after his mechanical problems. Each of those three winning one of the heats earlier on in the day. Ben Sayer out there as well, a winner at Pembrey last time out in the number 77. The only other cars out there being the number 20 of Gus Glass and the 74 of Jarek Upchurch. An entry of 11 cars being whittled down to 5 for this third attempt at the A final after a day of attrition. Ben Sayer making a mistake there on the first corner, runs wide and hits the cones. But out in front it is Abby McGuinness in 614 ahead of the number 51 of Wesley Wickens, the regular esports competitor. Gus Glass in one of the Bell Rallycross machines up there in third position. Ben Sayer recovering in the Sayers Road Tankers car after that mistake on the first corner. Missing several cars after problems in the heats, unfortunately. We lost James Hawkes early on in the day, also Alan Laidler, Jonathan Upchurch, and we saw Harrison Barnes in trouble on the first running of this race, failed to restart. Of course, Harvey Harmon after that rollover. Thankfully, Harvey is okay. The car suffering quite a lot of damage, sadly. Ben Sayer having a go for third place against Gus Glass. Had that tangle with Harrison Barnes at the first start, but he's okay to continue, and as I say that, he goes off. Sideways there and over the grass on the exit of the final corner, down to fourth. Jarek Upchurch still behind him, one of two members of the family in there. Really a green and red livery here today. Jonathan Upchurch failing to start this race, the ex-Formula 2 stock car racer. Still Abby McGuinness who leads the way. She, David Ellis and Ben Sayer, the favourites for the championship this year. Here comes Wesley Wickens on the outside into the hairpin. Having a look, McGuinness defends the inside line. Oh, she's slowing. Abby McGuinness is in trouble. And McGuinness pulls off. So we're down to 4 cars left running now, because Upchurch is still going towards the back. But it's these two for the lead. Wesley Wickens against Ben Sayer. Ben Sayer found his first successes at Pembrey, the ex-junior rallycross driver. He could be about to open up a lead in the BMW Mini Championship, sponsored by Bone Street Autos. If he can win this race. The identical 1600cc supercharged BMW Mini Cooper R53 models. Over the infield comes our leader, Wesley Wickens, looking for his first A final victory. What can Ben Sayer do? The more experienced rallycrosser, was in junior rallycross in the past with the Suzuki Swifts. And they're well clear of everybody else. It's Gus Glass, number 20, further back in third place. And Jarek Upchurch has pulled off. I just spotted his green car in the background. Yellow flag out at the hairpin because Abby McGuinness's car is stranded there on the outside. So he's only got 3 left from an initial entry of 11. It's been a real day of attrition for the Bone Street Autos BMW Mini category. There's the green car of Upchurch in the background. Into the last lap we go then. Let's hope nobody else drops out of this race, as Ben Sayer putting Wesley Wickens under pressure now. To turn 1 for the last time. Can Wickens hang on? Sayer not yet up alongside him. There's Jarek Upchurch's car, abandoned, thankfully, off the circuit, so he won't see a red flag. Sponsored by Neil Cawthorne, I noticed there, the ex-Classic MG racer. Still your leader is the number 51 of Wesley Wickens. Looking for his maiden A final win. Can he hold on around this last half a lap ahead of Ben Sayer? They're way ahead of Gus Glass, who's going to take third place. Still that yellow flag out on the hairpin for the stranded car of Abby McGuinness. Such a shame for Abby. She doesn't have a lot of luck in this category. But Wesley Wickens has had the luck going for him today. Scored a heat win earlier on, and he's going to take his first ever A final win if he can just hold on around this final corner. Wesley Wickens wins the Bone Street Autos BMW Minis. His first ever final victory. Ben Sayer in second. The only other finisher is going to be Gus Glass in the number 20 car, a long way back after a trip onto the grass earlier on. It's Glass who takes third place, the only 3 finishers to a rather chaotic BMW Minis A final. Jarek Upchurch will limp his car back to the paddock, but he won't be classified as a finisher. So the win goes to Wesley Wickens by 0.6 of a second over Ben Sayer. Gus Glass some 14 seconds back, the only other finisher. We lost Jarek Upchurch, Navi McGuinness from mechanical problems. David Ellis, Harvey Harman and the others didn't take the restart. We lost Jonathan Upchurch, Harrison Barnes and Alan Laidler early on, along with James Hawkes.
Wesley, I can see from the look on your face how much this means to you, and the congratulations of your team and other competitors. My hearty congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's so... I can't believe that at all. Once, I thought Abby was defending and then I realised she was slow, and then I just knew I had Ben behind me. I was like, I just can't make a mistake because Ben would just be through. And I was watching the entire race just closing up. It was... The car, I think, misfired on the last lap, and it was panic sort of stations, but yeah, I can't believe that.
Well, you've obviously got some fuel left in because the engine's still running now.
Yeah, it's normally the car doesn't finish and it makes brakes or something, so I was just waiting for something to happen. It never did. I lost count on the laps on like lap 3 after the restart, so I didn't have a clue what lap we're on, nothing.
Don't worry, you're excused. There were after so many restarts. And what were your thoughts as you had yet another restart?
Well, I messed the first 2 starts up. Well, the first one, I couldn't get it keeps bogging, so I was like trying not to mess this one up, get better revs, and it worked. And yeah, I saw Ben to my right, sort of losing control. I thought, right, just follow Abby, we're good. And I just, yeah, it actually helped because I messed every other one up but the last one, so I'll take it. But yeah, practice makes perfect. But
And seeing that checkered flag being waved for you, well, how was that?
I couldn't believe that. I kept going around thinking, where is it? And then it was there, and I could not believe it at all. No, I actually did. I expected there just to be someone up ahead, but there's not. I just couldn't believe it.
Very well won. It was quite an epic marathon for us all to watch, and there has to be a winner, and it's you.
I can't believe it. I really can't. It's great. Oh, thank you. I can't believe that at all.
Now on to the Melius Limited Pre-95 Classic category. Lee Wood in the Mark II Escort, unbeaten in A finals so far in 2023. And he won all 3 heats here at Blyton today, the only driver to score a hat-trick in his heats. But unfortunately, after the end of heat number 3, the engine let go in a cloud of smoke in the Ford Escort, and he will be unable to start the A final. So our pole sitter is missing from this A final for the Melius Limited Pre-95 Classics. Jamie McBain in his Peugeot 205 is in the middle of the front row, and John Cross in the Lancia Stratos clone on the outside. They will start as the favourites, getting underway then down towards the first corner. Good start by Alan Tapscott, the man from the southwest, in his Mark II Escort, but it is John Cross who leaves the rest of the field standing off the grid. Jamie McBain in the Peugeot in second place. Then it's Tapscott in third. Dan Swayland's lovely Mark I Escort there in fourth. Darrell Ambrose behind in the Peugeot 106, and completing the 6 starters, Thomas Edmonds in his Vauxhall Corsa. Quite a few of the favourites dropping out in the heats earlier on. We don't have Ryan Stutchbury in the Peugeot 205 or Mark Jones, the Welshman, making a return this weekend in his Toyota MR2. They had problems in the heats, as did, as we saw, Lee Wood in the Escort and Ian Biaggi as well in his Mini Clubman, the Scotsman, failing to make the start of this final. So just the 6 cars out there, and John Cross under fire from Jamie McBain. The Stratos very quick in a straight line. Look at that little machine blast clear down the straight there into the paddock section. Jamie McBain's Peugeot strong in the twistier sections of the circuits. There is Tom Edmonds at the wheel of his Corsa, a new engine in that car for this weekend. He's got ahead of Dan Swayland's Mark I Escort, and he's going after the leaders. And it's John Cross in the 2.8 litre Lancia Stratos replica who leads the way. Won here at Blyton last season. Certainly given Lee Wood a run for his money so far this year. Lee Wood and Fred Ling, the overall leaders of the championship with all the categories combined, coming into this weekend after their 3A final wins so far. But with Fred Ling absent and Lee Wood failing to start this final with a blown engine, certainly going to be a An interesting championship table at the end of today here at Blyton in the Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship when all the points are combined. Still in third place, Alan Tapscott. We used to see him in the super modified category with his Vauxhall Corsa, now out in the Mark II Escorts. This is the battle for fourth place, Dan Swayland giving chase to Thomas Edmonds. But still out front is John Cross ahead of Jamie McBain. McBain putting him under pressure now. The Peugeot 205 scored his first ever A final win at Pembrey last season. Certainly giving the Rallycross veteran a run for his money here. Lancia Stratos, of course, was the icon of 70s rallying along with the Ford Escort. It doesn't look like a rally car, it looks more like a light aircraft without wings. Chased here by McBain. It was the 1980s when the Peugeot 205, the rear engine T16, was rallied under the Group B regulations. Jamie McBain in the green livery of R1 Motorsports, chasing John Cross. Everybody else well behind. A shame we haven't got Lee Wood and his other rivals Mark Jones and Ryan Stutchbury out there to do battle in this one. It has been a day of attrition here at Blyton today, it has to be said. Bain having a look down the inside there, almost alongside the Stratos, clips the back of him coming through turn one. Get off, says John Cross. He's determined to hang on for his first A final win of the season and put himself into Melius Limited Classic Championship contention. McBain tries again, he hits the back of the Stratos again. Goodness me, this is more like stock car racing than Rallycross. There have been stock car events held here at Blyton in the past. McBain is all over John Cross, using his extra power in a straight line to hold on. We're on the last lap now. Through the hairpin for the final time. McBain absolutely determined to get ahead, but Cross has only got to put his foot down the straight here, and he'll pull away using the power of the little Lancia clone. He's heading for his first A final win of the season. Good race between these two, a bit robust at times, but John Cross wins it just ahead of McBain. Now who's going to be third? Looking further back, we were concentrating on the lead battle there. And for third place, Thomas Edmonds has got the Corsa past Alan Tapscott on the last lap there to take third position. Fifth it will be Dan Swayland, and Darrell Ambrose will be the final finisher in his Peugeot 106, the ex-production class competitor. Just the 6 in our A final today for the Melius Limited Pre-95 Classic category. And we'll check out the results of that race then. It was very close there at the end between John Cross and Jamie McBain. Great finish between the two of them, less than 4/10 of a second apart at the flag. Further back, Edmonds getting past Tapscott on the final lap to take third position. Dan Swayland's Mark 1 Escort fifth, and Darrell Ambrose completing the finishers. Non-starters, Mark Jones, Ryan Stutchbury, Ian Biaggi, and of course, Lee Wood, the triple heat winner.
Here I am in the paddock with the winner of our historic class final, Mr. John Cross, who looks, well, remarkably relaxed after that. You had your hands full.
Yeah, that was quite a hard day. The way this season's gone so far, I thought I was never going to get to speak to you again, but glad to be back here.
Well, I'm glad you are too, John. Yeah, it was the same sort of situation we've seen on a few occasions where the straight line speed of the Stratos just whizzes off, and it's a matter of who's going to try and catch up with you. And today it was Jamie.
Will I get round the corner at the end of it? Yeah, but it's good fun. It's a challenge. I still say it's the most difficult car I've ever had to drive, but it's when I've got a bit more experience, I'll pick it up as I go along. I'm enjoying it as much as I did in my 20s and 30s. So all the time I'm fit, relatively. Why not carry on?
Oh well, please do, John. It's always entertaining watching it.
I was sorry that Lee didn't make the final, because it's always, you don't like to win without without your main rival being there, which was the case. But he probably felt the same in Mondello. So, it doesn't matter. At the end of the season, we see who comes out on top.
And consistency counts.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Well, today your consistency counts, and you're the winner. Well done.
Hope to do the same again at Lyddon and catch up some lost time.
It won't be long, will it?
No, not far away. No, we got the world at Lyddon to look forward to before then, so that'll be good as well. Yeah. We'll see you there.
Look forward to it, John. Well done.
Thanks a lot.
Well, that wraps up our coverage of round 4 of the 2023 Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship here at Blyton. A few teams with some repairs to make ahead of round 5, which takes place down in Kent at the home of Rallycross, Liddon Hill, where the sport all began back in the late 1960s. I'm sure everybody will be ready for action then. For now, thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.